In this video, we are exploring the airport illusion, how terminals control your mind. Have you ever walked through an airport and felt this strange, irresistible urge to buy a $20 ham sandwich? Or maybe a bottle of designer perfume you didn't even know existed 5 minutes ago? Or perhaps you've wondered why, after a long, exhausting flight, you have to hike what feels like 3 miles just to get to your suitcase. It feels like a chaotic coincidence, doesn't it? Like the world's most expensive maze designed by someone who's never met a human being. But here is the reality. Nothing you experience in a terminal is accidental. From the direction the hallways turn to the very texture of the floor beneath your feet, everything is a calculated move in a multi-billion-dollar game of psychological chess. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the golden hour, the left-hand rule, and the sneaky ways they manipulate your stress to empty your wallet. By the time we're done, you'll realize you aren't just a passenger, you're a participant in a giant psychological experiment. Let's start with the most stressful part of your day, security. You know the drill. Belts off, shoes off, laptops in a bin, and a stranger shouting instructions at you while you scramble to keep your pants up. It's sterile, gray, and high pressure. But did you know that this stress is actually a retail tool? The industry calls the period right after you clear security the golden hour. This is the 60 minutes where passengers are statistically most likely to spend the most money. When you are in the security line, your body is in a high cortisol state. That's the stress hormone. Your brain is in survival mode. But the second you clear that checkpoint and put your shoes back on, your cortisol levels plummet and your brain floods with a massive wave of dopamine and relief. In this state of mind, your impulse control is at its absolute lowest. Your brain tells you that you deserve a treat for making it through the gauntlet. This is why the very first thing you see isn't your gate. It's a massive, shimmering, duty-free shop. They are catching you while you're still high on surviving the scanners. If they waited until you were bored at the gate, you'd be too rational to buy that $90 bottle of gin. They need you while you're still feeling that post-security rush. Now let's look at the layout of the terminal itself. Have you ever noticed that most modern airport terminals curve or turn to the left? There is a brilliant biological reason for that. About 80% of the world is right-handed. Because of the way our brains are wired, right-handed people have a natural right-hand bias. We tend to look toward the right and drift toward the right while we walk. Architects design the main thoroughfares to curve slightly to the left. Why? Because as you walk through a left-curving hallway, your field of vision naturally opens up to the right. By forcing the path to the left, airports ensure that the maximum number of luxury storefronts are positioned directly in your natural line of sight on the right-hand side. Those high-end watch stores and designer clothing outlets aren't there by accident. They are there because your biology practically forces you to look at them. If the airport turned right, you'd be looking at the blank interior wall. By turning left, the shops open up to you like a blooming flower of consumerism. Beyond the layout, airports use something called atmospherics to keep you in a spending mood. This involves sight, sound, and even smell. Have you ever noticed that airport ceilings are often incredibly high in the shopping areas? High ceilings are psychologically linked to feelings of freedom and luxury. They want you to feel limitless. But as you move toward the boarding gates, the ceilings often get lower. This creates a sense of coziness or confinement, signaling that your time for exploring is over and it's time to prepare for the flight. And then there's the smell. Many high-end terminals use scent marketing. If you walk past a bakery or a coffee shop, you'll notice the smell is incredibly potent. That's often because of scent cannons or HVAC integrated aromas. But it goes deeper. Duty-free areas often pump in scents of ocean breeze or fresh linen. These scents are scientifically proven to reduce anxiety and increase perceived value. You are statistically more likely to spend $100 on a bottle of cologne if the air around you smells like a tropical vacation. Then there's the long walk. Have you ever felt like your arrival gate was in a different zip code from the baggage claim? There is a legendary case study from the Houston International Airport. For years, they were getting thousands of complaints about the long wait times for luggage. They tried hiring more baggage handlers. They upgraded the conveyor belts. Nothing worked. People were still angry. Then they tried something brilliant. They didn't fix the bags. They moved the gates. They intentionally routed passengers from the arrival gate to a baggage claim that was much further away. It forced passengers to walk 6 times longer than they used to. By the time the passengers arrived at the belt, their bags were already there. The wait time was technically the same, but because the passengers were moving, what experts call occupied time, they felt the service was faster. When you stand still at a carousel for 10 minutes, your brain focuses on the delay. It feels like an eternity. But when you spend 8 minutes walking and 2 minutes waiting, your brain feels like the service was lightning fast. The long walk isn't a design flaw, it's a psychological sedative. This is one of the most subtle tricks in the book. Next time you're walking to your gate, I want you to look down. Pay attention to what's under your feet. The main walkways, the arteries of the airport, are almost always hard surfaces. Tile, granite, or linoleum. These surfaces are loud. When you roll a suitcase over tile, it makes a clack, clack, clack sound. Your footsteps are sharp. This creates a subconscious sense of urgency. It tells your brain, this is a transit zone. Keep moving. Don't stop. They want you to move through the boring parts of the airport as quickly as possible. But the moment you reach a gate or a luxury lounge, the floor suddenly becomes soft, plush carpet. Carpet absorbs sound and mimics the feeling of a cozy living room. It's designed to make you feel relaxed and settled. Why? Because a relaxed passenger is a passenger who stays put. They browse their phone for digital purchases, or they look around and decide they have enough time to head back to that bar for one more $18 cocktail. The floor is literally telling you whether to run or stay. What about the airlines themselves? They use a tactic called salami slicing for delays. You're sitting at the gate, and the screen says your flight is delayed by 15 minutes. Then, 15 minutes later, it updates to another 15. The airline often knows the plane won't be ready for 3 hours, but if they told you the truth, you might leave the terminal. You might demand a hotel voucher, go home, or find a proper restaurant outside the airport gates. By slicing the delay into tiny digestible bites, they keep you tethered to the gate. They keep you in the waiting zone, where your only food options are the overpriced kiosks and snack bars right in front of you. To make this worse, have you noticed there are almost no clocks in the shopping areas? Much like a casino in Las Vegas, airports want you to enter a state of temporal distortion. They want you to lose track of time while browsing books or trying on sunglasses. If you don't see the minutes ticking away on a wall clock, you stay in the golden hour mindset for much longer. They want you to rely on their screen, which they control, rather than your own sense of time. Even the way gates are assigned is a trick. Ever wonder why your low-cost carrier gate is always at the very end of the terminal, while the luxury airlines are right in the center? It's called tiered access. Airports charge airlines more for gates that are closer to the main retail hubs. This means that if you're flying on a budget, the airport is going to force you to walk past every single store they have before you reach your gate. You are essentially being paraded through a shopping mall. And once you get to the gate, notice the seating. It's usually uncomfortable. Metal or hard plastic. Why? To encourage secondary spending. If the gate seating is uncomfortable, you are more likely to get up and walk to a nearby cafe or bar where the chairs are padded. They aren't just selling you a flight, they are selling you the relief from the discomfort they created. Airports are some of the most expensive pieces of real estate on the planet, and every square inch, from the height of the ceilings to the color of the bathroom lights, is designed to extract value from your journey. When you realize that you aren't just a traveler, but a participant in a giant psychological experiment, the terminal starts to look very different. The long walk is a parade, the carpet is a trap, and the golden hour is a play on your emotions. But now you have the upper hand. You know the secrets. You can spot the right-hand bias, and you can prepare for the salami-sliced delays. The best way to beat the system? Bring your own snacks. Carry an empty water bottle to fill up once you're inside. Wear noise-canceling headphones to drown out the buy now atmosphere. And most importantly, keep your eyes on your own watch, not the shimmering displays. If these secrets change the way you think about your next vacation, do me a huge favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel reach more curious travelers. If you want to stay ahead of the curve on how the world really works, hit subscribe and join our community. And if you enjoyed this dive into the psychology of travel, make sure to stay tuned to see our next video. Thanks for watching, stay savvy, and I'll see you at the next destination.